What would be a fun sporting event to either go with your dad or take your sons with? If you could pick any sporting event that has happened in the past, Eric, I did a lot of thinking of this and I came up with one for myself, but I'm interested to hear what you would do, you would pick.
That's tough. I mean, my dad coached midget baseball, and at the end of the season, he and the other coaches, as a team, we'd go up and watch a Reading Phillies game, and it was a really neat way to end the season. He took my brother and I up to Hershey to see the Harlem Globetrotters. And, you see the Harlem Globetrotters on TV, and it doesn't do it any justice as to, one, just how good basketball players they were, but just the entertainers that they were. And to see it live and in person, I mean, our eyes must have been as big as beach balls, taking that all in. But the one thing I'm going to remember about my dad was Game 6 of the '86 World Series. I'm sitting there and I'm watching the Mets on the verge of getting beat by the Red Sox. And you're probably too young to remember this, but Don Meredith, when he was on Monday Night Football, when the game was just about over, he'd start singing, "Turn out the lights, the party's over." Well, Dad went into this rendition. Well, lo and behold, the Mets come back and win Game 6 and go on to win Game 7. So I would have been, I'd like to take my dad to Game 7 of that '86 World Series, and then I get to sing it back to him.
That would have been Bill Buckner, right? The Bill Buckner incident, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Well, that was Game 6.
Yeah.
That was Game 6, yes.
All right, Coach, you're up here. I can't wait to hear your thoughts on this whole situation.
October 21st, 1980. I'd take my grandfather and my father down to Philadelphia because they were big-time Philly fans. In fact, my grandfather used to sit in the dark in his home in a corner chair listening to the game on a little white radio, AM radio. He would rather listen to it on the radio than watch it on TV. But I would love to take them especially at 11:29 p.m. when when Tug struck out. It was Willie
Wilson.
Yep, with that Scroogey. Oh, man, I'll tell you what, that would have been great. By the way, that's the most watched World Series game in history.
Wow.
54.9 million people.
Wow, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
Well, it's interesting. All three of us picked a date in the 1980s. I don't know what that says about us, but I'm going to show you here in a second the video of what I would have chosen, but mine would have been 1986. Now, granted, I would have only been 3.5 at this time, so we'd have to jump in a time machine and head back to this to get it, but here it is. April 20th, 1986, first round of the NBA playoffs. Chicago Bulls versus the Boston Celtics, Game 2. Michael Jordan drops 63 points against the Boston Celtics. Growing up, I was a Michael Jordan Chicago Bulls fan. My dad, a lifelong Boston Celtics fan. And if you could have taken us, maybe me as a 9-year-old and my dad as a 39-year-old to this game, sitting in the stands, we both would have went home happy, although him a little more than I. And this is exactly the game that I would take my dad to. We both love basketball, and I love Michael Jordan. This is one of the best games he's ever had, especially early in his career there. And, of course, the Celtics winning as well. So there you have it. All three of us living in the past, living in the 80s.
Was that Jordan's second year?
He was drafted in '84.
Okay.
So he played 84, 85, he was Rookie of the Year, and then 85, 86, he got hurt and came back right at the end of the season just to get him into the playoffs, and then he dropped that on the Celtics. And again, that was all part of the Last Dance documentary.